All right, guys. So today you are going to be learning about, we're still talking about volume, but you're going to be talking about rotating two-dimensional shapes around an axis. So like your X and Y axis is what we are going to be talking about. So I'm over here on the calendar and I am going to click on today's date, which is the 21st, so rotating around an axis. And I'm going to actually click this link so I can see what the classwork and homework are. I'm going to be starting page 8 and 9 with you guys. So I'm going to go to this interactive website, which you guys can do as well. So it kind of lets you then visually see what it looks like, and it is actually pretty fun to play around with. So I'm going to kind of guide you with which coordinate points to pick. So let's follow along. So the first one that I'm going to do, it's a little hard to see, is I'm going to actually do a rectangle. Okay, so a rectangle has 4 points, and I'm going to tell you guys to pick the point 0, 5, 2, 5, 2, 0, and 0, 0. Okay, so I'm going to then go to my tool right here, so I can see it says 4 vertices, right? I have 4 vertices, so I'm going to push go, and it lets me type in some points. So I'm going to type in the points I just wrote. 0, 5, 2, 5, 2, 0, and 0, 0. I'm going to say graph, and I get a rectangle, right, which was my goal there. I wanted this rectangle. And I can actually pick what I want it to revolve around or what I want it to rotate around. So it says revolve, and it says the line y equals 0 is the x-axis. So I believe on my paper it says sketch the solid with dimensions created when rotating around the x-axis. So this is your x-axis, so I have it selected. Okay, and I'm going to scroll up and I'm going to push revolve. Right, and it's rotating around the x-axis. The purple line is my x-axis. So if I can now drag this, and if you can see, I have a 3-dimensional shape. The 3D shape that I have is actually a cylinder. Right, so I wonder if I can reset it. Oh, reset view. You can also turn on the wireframe, I think. Oh, I didn't click it. Which allows you to kind of see in the middle of it a little bit better, so we can see what the radius and what the height are. I'm going to reset it again. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually draw it over here. Do it on your paper as well. So I'm going to draw my x and y axis. It's probably not going to be great. And I have 0, 0, 0, 5. So that distance would be 5. 2, 5. Oh, I'm sorry, 2, 0, and then 2, 5. So when it rotated, this is what I started with. When it rotated, I kind of got this and this. Then I can see the distance between those bases. If you look at this picture or the one I drew with the dimensions, this distance from here to here is your height, and that's actually going to be 2, right? My horizontal distance was 2. My radius, this distance, was actually 5. It's coming from my coordinate points. I can also see it here. This is 5, right? That length there is 5. This distance, your height, is 2. And I can look at the dots here. That's 2, whereas the radius is 5. Okay? And then I'm asked to find the volume, which you guys have done a lot at this point. So volume is area of the base times the height. The base is a circle because it's a cylinder. Think if you're rotating, it's going to be something that's circular. You can't rotate and have hard edges. So the base is a circle, pi r squared. Pi times, we identified that the radius is 5. So you've got 25 pi is your radius. I'm sorry, is the area of your base. And your height is 2. So volume is going to be 25 pi times 2, which is going to be 50 pi units cubed. Okay, so that is rotating around the x-axis. When we rotate around the y-axis, we're going to get something a little bit different. So what's really cool about this is I can reset the view, change what I'm rotating around. So it says the line x equals 0 is the y-axis. I'm going to select this, and then I am going to say revolve. And it goes back to my original shape, and now it's revolving or rotating around the y-axis, this purple line. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually draw it as well, so you can kind of see it's like tall and skinnier this time. So I started again with that rectangle. Now, so this is my x-axis, this is my y-axis. I got my cylinder, still a cylinder, up here. So now what was my radius is actually, this distance is my height, so 5. What was my height is actually now my radius, which is going to be 2. I'm going to label it, draw it and label it. I can kind of move this around. I can see, oh look, there the length is 2. You can see the red, you can see the original one, so that height of it is actually 5. So I can move this around and see. All right, the volume just changed. I revolved it or rotated it a different direction, and the volume is going to change, I think. So let's find the volume here as well. So volume again equals base times height. It says to show your work. Base is pi r squared, which equals pi times 2 squared, which is 4 pi. And then your height is 5. The volume is going to be 4 pi times 5, which is 20 pi units cubed. Right, so there you have it. It's not the same volume. Right, so I rotated around the x-axis, the y-axis. This system is going to help me to visualize it. It helps to see that. You don't have to use it. The idea is to eventually get away from it, but it does help. So let's reset it, and let's do the next one together. Okay, so I'm going to do a rectangle again now. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to do a rectangle again. Yeah, I'll do a rectangle again. So here I've got another rectangle. And my points are 3, 1, 3, 8, 6, 8, and 6, 1. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to say new polygon. It still has 4 vertices. Go. So we've got 3, 1, 3, 8, 6, 8, 6, 1. Graph. Oh, look, it's not on the x or the y axis. So things might be a little bit different. When it's rotating, it's not touching either one of those axes. So let's start it again. Let's make sure we're going to rotate around the x-axis first, because that's what my paper asked for, x-axis first. So let's revolve it. Oh, sorry. So you can see, okay, I've got a cylinder, but what's going to happen when I turn this so we have a better view? Hopefully you can see there's like a little space in there that's missing. Right? That little space is actually a cylinder as well. So you have 2 cylinders. So it's almost like I'm finding the area of the shaded cylinder. I wonder if wireframe helps to see it any better. I guess a little bit. You can kind of see that inside cylinder in there. Kind of helps. So let's see what we can do when we graph it. So I'm going to draw my x and y axis. I rotated around the x-axis. I'll call this x. And I started with the point 3, 1, 3, 8. So that distance is 7. 6, 8. So that distance is 3. And then 6, 8. And then when I rotated it, I'm actually going to draw the other one down here. So that I can kind of see what that looks like. And it's like I've got a little one in the middle. Oh, this is awful. Big one. Little one right here. And then I can connect those as well. So it's like I have a big cylinder with a little cylinder missing. So let's think through, and maybe I can reset the view of this a little bit. What my distances here are. So these are actually going to have the exact same height. I think this is going to be the height for both of them. And I think that height, if you think through it, this x coordinate's 3,